All right. Happy Thursday, everybody. Before the Easter long weekend, that's quite exciting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll all get some chocolate because that's always a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to all of you that were able to make it onto the webinar yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
If you did manage to make it, it has been recorded. It will be posted on the BC Lung website. And there was probably some review information for a lot of you that attend these classes, but there may have also been hopefully some new information as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get going. Please make sure you have a nice clear space to exercise in, nothing to step on or trip over. It's important to have a sturdy chair, right? Nothing with wheels. It's helpful to be in bare feet or sturdy shoes to reduce your risk of slipping. And then you'll just need some sort of a weight today, whatever that looks like, water bottle, soup can, bag of rice, right? And then if you have a stretchy band, we'll have that today as well. All right, so let's get into our breathing pattern. We're gonna do just 3 breaths without doing anything else, and then we'll start adding in some movement as we go. So with a hand on your belly, let's breathe in, fill up the belly with air. And then we're breathing out through pursed lips. Breathe in, fill up the belly. Breathe out through pursed lips. Breathe in and out through pursed lips. Good. Now we're going to move our arm out to the side as we breathe in, and then out as we bring our hand back in. And then the other arm, move out to the side, breathe in, breathe out and bring the hand back in. Out to the side, breathe in, breathe out, bring the hand back in. Breathe in, move the hand out. Breathe out, bring the hand back in. And now our arm and opposite leg if you can. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And I should say inhale. Exhale. Good. So now we're going to lift up the arm. So either a straight arm, if extending the arm does not feel great for your body, you can always bend the elbow like you're trying to touch your thumb to your shoulder. Okay, so let's lift up as we breathe in, lower as we breathe out. So inhale and lift, exhale and lower, inhale and lift, exhale and lower, inhale and lift, exhale and lower. And now stretching out our opposite leg as well. So arm and leg reach. Then both come in as we exhale. Reach and inhale. Down and 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 exhale. And then reach and inhale. And down and exhale. There we go. Okay. So now we've got our arms and legs moving really slowly, practicing our breathing pattern. So I would really encourage you to maintain that breathing pattern as long as you can And we're gonna just start slowly increasing the intensity of our warm-up and then exercises. So what we're gonna start with now is I'd like you just to lift up one heel and push forward your opposite hand, bring it back, and then switch. You can time this to your breathing still, but I'd encourage you to try to get each arm pushing out on the inhale and 2 on the exhale. Does that make sense to everybody? Because now we're increasing the pace a little bit. So it should be inhale, exhale. So inhale, push right, push left, exhale, push right, push left. Okay, and if that feels a little bit too quick for you, again, listen to your body. Everyone goes at their own pace. Maybe you need to do more than 2 pushes with your breathing pattern, and that's okay too. But let's just stick to that slower, steadier breathing as we start moving with just a little bit more intensity. So lift the heel, push out the hand. Lift the heel, push out the hand. Well done, everybody. We're going to change up our leg movement in 3, 2, 1. I would encourage you to keep reaching with your arms if you can. And now with our feet still, we're going to pull our knees together, or press your knees together and then pull them apart. So press the knees together, bring them back apart. Press the knees together, bring them back apart. And we're still maintaining that breathing pattern. Inhale and exhale through pursed lips. There we go, gang. Remember, there's no specific rhythm. There's no specific speed you have to go at. Just go at your own pace, whatever makes sense to you. And I know it gets more and more challenging to focus on all these different things, but that's what makes it more fun. Or at least that's what drives improvement. Good. Okay, we're going to change up the upper body movement. Now the arms are going to go out to the side. I'd still like you trying to press the knees together.
So what are you doing?
There we go. Maintain that breathing pattern. It gets more challenging to do the more things we start doing. But that's what makes it even more important to practice, because you want your breathing pattern to be a habit no matter what is going on in your day-to-day. So the more often you can breathe with a steady, full breath and your breathing pattern, the better off you'll be. Okay, we're going to change up our legs in 3, 2, 1. This time our leg is crossing as we open up and back. So the foot crosses as we open up and back. Cross and open, back, cross and open, and back. Good work, everybody. Brilliant. Remember to maintain your breathing pattern as we go. Good. We're going to continue for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Excellent. Now is a really good time to grab a sip of water. Now is also a good time to review our recovery position whenever we have a rest, and especially whenever you start feeling short of breath, you can go right into your recovery position, seated or standing, right off your forearms or your hands. You just want to be bent forward a little bit with that chest up, and that can help you regain your breathing pattern a lot quicker, because we're not breathing against gravity as much as we are when sitting upright. Okay. So today we're going to do our steady state cardio. And that is where we keep moving for an absurdly long time till everyone is begging us to just stop and have a rest. So today the challenge is going to be 4 minutes of continuous movement. And remember, that movement really is up to you. Okay. If you're just starting out, if you're having an off day, if you've been feeling more short of breath, the movement can be as simple as circling your arms, and you can then lift and lower your heels one at a time even. I'll keep telling you when a minute has passed if you'd like to change up the movement. Otherwise, we can be marching. Just remember, those things that impact the intensity is your range of motion. Okay, that'll make it more challenging. The number of limbs moving at a time, more challenging, and your speed. Okay, so again, our goal is 4 minutes. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So whatever that movement looks like to you, the goal is just to keep moving. Maybe you would like to push the intensity, whatever that looks like to you, for a minute, and then really slow it down for a minute. Maybe you can just keep going for 4 minutes. Do what you can. And while we're doing this, the challenge of doing this is maintaining your breathing pattern the whole time. So can we maintain a steady breath, that pursed lip exhale, even while we start to challenge our bodies and challenge our lungs more and more? Because it is going to be really challenging by the end of the 4 minutes. And that's great. And we'll have a nice long rest before moving on to some strength work. Great job, team. All right, that was 1 minute.
Jesus.
And remember, the movement is whatever it needs to be for you, right? So even if you start getting fatigued, just doing any sort of small movement is just great. Even if that's just lifting and lowering the heels, circling the wrists. The goal here is just to be able to keep up some sort of movement for 4 minutes, not to move intensely. Good. Keep breathing out through pursed lips, gang. Don't forget your breathing pattern. And that's 2 minutes. Good work. So if you wanted to change it up, you can. You don't have to. Sometimes changing it up can just make it easier to get it done. Great job, team. Remind yourself that you are just awesome for showing up today. You're getting in your exercises for the day. Right now, you are actively contributing to your own health and well-being, and that's amazing. So well done. Keep up that breathing pattern. And that's 3 minutes. You've only got 1 more minute left.
Good.
Yeah, you're doing great. Just do what you can. Switch it up whenever needed. Goal is just to keep up some movement. Great job, team. We're getting into that final countdown. We've got about 30 seconds left. Good work. Keep breathing out through pursed lips. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Very good. So some of you may need some really gentle movement to better help you catch your breath. Otherwise, we're in that recovery position and just focused on our breathing pattern. Good. Well done, team. How's everybody feeling so far?
Okay.
Okay, good. I see a couple thumbs up, which is great. I don't see any thumbs down, which is even better. Good work. So you just did 4 minutes of nonstop movement. And the extra tricky part is that was after about 12 minutes of warm-up movement. So 4 minutes of more intense nonstop movement. That is awesome. Well done. And it's helpful that we do that once in a while so you can kind of look back onto how you improve, right? How we start reducing your shortness of breath through 4 minutes of movement, or you find you start doing more challenging movements for a longer period of time in that 4 minutes. So I really do encourage you every time we do one of those longer bursts, what I call steady state, because we're trying to just keep going. Really reflect on, oh, have I gotten better since the first time we ever did it, right? Whatever that looks like to you. Right? And it's not always, oh, it got easier. Because if the challenge is to make it challenging for yourself, it's never going to feel easier. So you sometimes have to reflect and go, oh, before I was, only moving my arms across my body, but now I've added in the legs. That's a huge improvement. Maybe it was, oh, I had to stop 4 times to rest, whereas I used to have to stop 10 times. Awesome. That's a huge improvement. So really acknowledge what the improvement looks like to you. And we're going to shift now into focusing on our strength. So you can go ahead and grab whatever it is you're using for your weight. And if you are going to not use a weight for this next exercise, that's okay too. Because we are going to do a couple sit to stands. My favorite. I love sit to stands and squat movements. I know a lot of you do not agree with me, and that's okay. So we're going to hold our weight, if you are using one, in one hand to our side. So what we're going to do here is add to the challenge for our core, because the weight should be just heavy enough that you feel it on that side. Maybe it feels like it could pull you over, but you're not letting it, right? If you need to hold on to something for balance, that's great. but we've got just weight on one side. We push through our feet and stand up as straight as you can. And you do want to feel like the weight pulls you, no matter how slightly it is. And then we just sit down slowly with control. Okay. If you are not standing up, then your goal is to, again, wait in the same position, push your feet into the ground as if you're about to get up. Maybe you can get up just a little ways, pause, and then back down. Awesome. Do what you can. Standing up and down with control. Standing up. So think about tightening through your core. Hopefully that weight encourages you to stay extra strong through this movement. Up and down with control. And up. Down with control. So that was 5 by my count. So I'm going to go ahead and switch hands. And then same thing, up, down, 2, 3. Good. Push through your feet. Tighten up the core. Down, 2, 3. And up. Down, 2, 3. And last one, up. Down, 2, 3. And rest. Nice work, everybody. All right, you can put your weight just to the side for now. And if you have a stretchy band, you can go ahead and grab it. And what we're going to do here is we're going to put it around our back. So take the stretchy band, put it around your back. Just a reminder, if you tend to do most of our exercises standing, what I'm about to show you will be quite challenging for your balance. So just be aware of that. And there's 2 different ways you can do it while standing. So if you're seated, you can push your hands out in front of you and lift one knee. So push the hands, lift the knee. We're up nice and tall and we pause and back. Now, if you're standing, bit risky, quite challenging on your balance to lift up a leg and you don't have any way to grab onto support. So what you can do is push your arms forward, lift up your foot slightly, and then back down so you're not balancing as long. Or you can step forward. So you step forward to push and then back. Still is going to work your balance a lot. Just make sure you're staying tight through your core. So tighten up your belly. Okay, push the hands, lift the knee and back. 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 Push the hands, lift the knee, back. Push the hands, lift the knee, back. And we're going to do 5 more together. 5. Back. 4. And back. 3. Back. 2. Back. And 1. Back and rest. Good. So keep the hands where they are. Keep the hands where they are. Because now what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you to keep your arms out in front of you. And from here, I'm going to get you to open up your leg and back in. So it's like we're kind of stepping over a log with one foot. So it's up and out and back. And the goal is to not let your arms move. So can you keep your arms pressed out in front of you? Lift out and back. So it's going to involve keeping your core tight. Don't let those hands move. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And rest. Whew. Nice work, gang. So now you can take the band off and put the band to the side. So just as a reminder, we've done 3 strength exercises so far. And then we're going to do another, and then we will repeat. Super, super fun. Okay. All right. So now what I would like to see is one of 2 things. You can turn sideways in your chair to create almost like this stretch position. So one foot is back. You can also just drop a leg back. Now, it's okay if you can't get your leg very far back, because some of us do cramp up in the hamstring or the hip. So just put your foot back however far you can. Maybe you can just stagger it a little bit. Maybe you can put it quite a ways back. Doesn't matter. Find what is challenging but doable for you. But from this position, I'd like to encourage you to push your feet into the ground. We have the weight in one hand again. And we're just going to curl the weight up in a bicep curl and try to maintain that tension through our legs. Right? If you would like to push up so you're slightly elevated and it's really challenging through the legs, make sure you got something in grabbing distance for balance. Pull the weight up and down. 2, 3, whatever that looks like to you. 4, pushing through your feet. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest. Okay, now you can switch hands. We're going to switch legs. So you're either pushing your feet into the ground, or you can actually get slightly out, up into the air, and lifting up the weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest. Woo! Great job, team. That was almost too much fun. We might have to pull back on the fun a little bit. So here's your chance to catch your breath as needed. Maybe you need to go right into that recovery position. A sip of water is very helpful here. Maybe you need to keep moving lightly, and that's what makes your body feel better as a bit of a rest. So we're going to repeat those exercises once we have recovered. Are there any questions at this point in class? Any questions about the exercises we just did? Because we are going to repeat them.
I think I need to do that one more often.
This one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
broke
awesome.
my leg a few years ago, and this hit all the places that need strength.
There you go, Steph. Good work.
Joe, one thing I've noticed with your breathing in and out is that breathing out. I think I'm breathing out fully with pursed lips, but if I should put my hand in front, the amount being blown out is very little. You know, you might think you're blowing out a lot, but you aren't necessarily.
Yeah, and that can be impacted just by your lung capacity overall,
Yeah,
right? And that's
surprised how much it would vary from time to time.
like from each breath or more on like a
Oh,
weekly
on
basis.
different exercises.
Yeah, and I mean when we do our slower strength, you're not stressing because we're not getting our heart rate up. We're not increasing our breathing rate as much either,
Yeah,
right? So it might feel like you're either breathing out more volume at once compared to our breathing exercises, or it doesn't feel like as much because it's not happening as often.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay as long as you're feeling good. Like that's perfectly normal. Okay. Uh, all right, we're gonna do all of those exercises again. And please remember, if you need any clarification on any of the exercises we do ever, please don't be shy about asking. It's so important, so incredibly important that you do them correctly and that you feel good about doing the exercise. And I can always adapt things as needed for you. Okay. So starting with the weight in your one hand, we've got our sit to stands. And when we've got weight in one hand, we tend to call these suitcase sit to stands because it's like you're holding a suitcase or a bag of groceries. So we're gonna either push your feet in the ground or stand all the way up. That's one, and down, and up. Two. So if you ever struggle with carrying in the groceries, this can be a helpful way to practice. Get your reusable bag, fill it with a couple things that make it a challenging but doable weight, and practice doing a couple sit to stands. Up, go. That might have been 5. We'll do one more just to be safe. Extra is always better than not enough. That goes for Easter dinner too. Switch. All right, switch hands and push. Good work. Push through your feet, tense up those legs. Bend down. Well done, everybody. Good. And this is 5? Maybe. Is it not? It is. Okay, brilliant. If you did extra, that's amazing. Good work. Good work. So you can put the weight to the side. Grab your stretchy band. You know, I think one of the reasons you guys like me so much is just because of how bad I am at counting. Makes me more relatable, I think. Or adds to having a good laugh at my expense. So remember, if your hands get sore squeezing onto the band, you can wrap the band around your palm, and that will help you hold on to it. And then from here, we're pushing our hands out in front of us and lifting a leg and back. And then alternate legs. There we go. Excellent job, gang. Remember to be safe if you're choosing to do this while standing. Tighten up that core. You can step forward instead of lifting up your knee. But just please keep in mind that with a band in your hands, it's really hard to grab onto something for balance if it becomes needed. There we go. Pushing your hands out and back. And last one. Okay, now our next exercise has us holding our arms out in front of us with the band, if you can. And then we step one leg up and out and then back in. Think about balancing a glass on your head. Don't let your arms move. So you got to tighten up your core. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring your arms back in. Whew. Well done, team. You can relax the band. And grab your weight, and then once again, you can either just drop a leg back or just your foot. Whatever the range is for you, you can turn sideways in your seat. We're gonna push through our feet, right? Create tension in the legs, and then we're gonna do a bicep curl. 1, 2, 3. Remember to purposefully lift it like it is really, really heavy. So squeeze onto the weight, pull, and then down with control. Pull it up and down with control. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and rest. We are switching sides. And curl that weight up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and rest. Whew. Well done, team. That was really fun. So we've got just a couple exercises before stretch time, mostly to do with our core. So this next one, you can do it standing or seated, completely up to you. And if you're doing it standing, you can make it more challenging by bending your knees. But what the purpose is at the edge of your seat, if you are sitting, we're going to think about, again, sitting up or standing really tall through the torso. And we're going to swing the weight side to side. And what I want is not to feel like your shoulders are working hard. I want to challenge your core. So tighten up your belly and allow the weight to swing and switch hands. If you don't feel comfortable switching hands, you can hold on to it with 2 hands. And the goal again is just to be really tight through your core as we move that weight. So we're doing our best to control the movement of our weight using our core. Good. Maintain your breathing pattern. And again, if you're choosing to stand, I'd encourage you to bend your knees down into a little bit of a squat. That's going to make it more challenging to keep your torso completely still and just move that weight. Good. So do what you can here. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay. Now we're going to get our feet and knees wide apart. And we have practiced our hinging movement before, right? Where we just bend forward at the hips. So what we're going to add today is the weight lifting up partway and lifting up because of our core, not because of our shoulders and arms. So what that looks like is a slight bend forward and then tighten your glutes, tighten your core, and you should pop the weight back up and then down and pop it back up and then down, pop it up. Now, if you've got a sore back today, the weight is quite far away from your body, so it can irritate your back. What you're going to do instead is pull it up to your chest and then down. Okay, so that is one way if your back is feeling grumpy to make it less irritating. Otherwise, tighten the heck out of your core to pull that weight up. Oh, and keep breathing. So we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Sorry if you heard a ringer. I did not silence that before class. All right, so now we're at the edge of our seat and we're going to practice our leaning back towards our backrest. Remember, just to where we feel tension in our core and then tighten it up further to pull yourself back up. So rock back and then tighten to pull up. Rock back, tighten to pull back up. Good. And this is one where if you're really conscious of using your core to do all the movement, you don't have to move very far back. If I think about staying up completely tall and then leaning back just an inch, I can feel the tension in my core. So it can be just this really little movement. But if you feel confident going back further and you don't feel it in your lower back, then you can challenge yourself. Good work, team. Rock back, pull forward. Rock back, pull forward. Rock back, pull forward. Rock back, pull forward. Good. And 2 more. And last one. Good. Quick rest. Well done. And the last one we'll do today is with or without the weight, right? You got to decide what's best for your body. The movement we're going to do is lift the knee and move your weight as if we're trying to touch elbow to knee, but we don't want to actually bend forward, because turning and bending forward puts the most amount of stress through your spine. A good example is unloading the dishwasher. Sometimes people tweak their backs, not because they're doing anything bad, but just that turn and bent over position can be the most stressful. So saying that, just be conscious of what your body's doing. We lift up the knee and we turn and we keep up tall to move forward. So you'll still feel it in your core and then back. Still feel it in the core, but we're not straining through the back. So think about that hinge movement where we keep our backs up tall, but we bend through the hips a little bit. Good work, team. Keep up your breathing pattern. It's almost stretch time. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Very good. Put the weight to the side. Shake out your hands. Shake out your legs. And it is time to stretch. Excellent job. Woo! You can pull that elbow up and go ahead, ask any and all questions you might have, even if it was about yesterday's webinar.
I'm going to have to leave now, okay? Bye to everybody and happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good work, team. Does anyone have any questions? Not yet. And switch arms.
I have more of a comment. I was in a nursing home this morning, and I'd always felt sorry, oh, I was a shorter wind and this and that. But I'll tell you, it opened my eyes in there this morning. You know, to see these people, you know, son of a gun, yeah. So we'll keep exercising, Jill. You keep pushing us.
You betcha. It's a really tough thing to change our own perspective, because there's the way you feel and there's the way you function. And sometimes they line up and sometimes they're very different. And rest your arm there, stretch out your leg, reach towards your toes. So what that means is we're usually pretty conscious of how we feel. So we feel really tired, we feel short of breath, we feel, you know, cranky joints. And that can be really hard to deal with because you're kind of just stuck with the way you feel, right? Yeah. Just like you're sometimes kind of just stuck with your thoughts unless you do things to kind of rearrange them and overcome and all that, but you're stuck with yourself. And we sometimes, it's a lot easier to stick to the feeling than it is to recognize the function. So it might feel like, well, I've been starting exercises for half a year or, you know, a full year, and I still feel tired, I still feel short of breath, and you're just stuck with that feeling. And because the feeling is every day, even if that has changed, it's sometimes hard to recognize. But then all of a sudden you realize, hey, my function has really improved.
That's right.
Right? Like that's the key thing. All right, awesome. Because I know with pain, switch legs, even pain, you can have good and bad days, but your body adjusts. And so we see it happen all the time where just feeling bad, and whatever the spectrum is, just feeling not good, you actually might be feeling objectively much better than you have.
Yeah.
But because it doesn't feel 100%, it still feels not good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, it's a good explanation of it, yeah.
Yeah, and that goes for everybody, not just for COPD, right? And we see it a lot with chronic pain. That's one of the toughest ones because your brain structure and your brain chemistry actually changes. Your brain's quite elastic. And especially with pain and not feeling good, it kind of just shifts to being the default. So that's why it's always so important to, anytime you recognize that, like, hey, I'm actually doing pretty good. Sit with that feeling. Write it down if you need to. I encourage, my clients, all ages, to recognize when things are good and when things have improved, even if it's really, really small. And you can pull the leg up to your shin or up onto your thigh, because it's just like memories. We are hardwired as a survival mechanism to really remember the negative. Like, it's a lot easier to recall a time that somebody was really mean to you than it sometimes is if they did 5 nice things.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's similar. It's just our bodies and brains trying to protect us, right? That's the survival mechanism piece. Is our brains want to remember the bad things, so we know what to avoid. But sometimes it means we have to put purposeful effort into remembering the good things. Remember the improvements. Ask yourself, what's becoming easier in my day-to-day? Is there something that was a lot harder to do? Is there something I wasn't able to do? Yeah, that can be really important. And we can go ahead and switch legs. And that's genuinely why I like to celebrate you guys, even just getting on the Zoom. I'm not pandering to you. I'm not just trying to, blow hot air. I genuinely mean great work. It's hard to get into a routine. It's hard to do things that are challenging, and you are doing it. Be really, really proud of yourselves. Go ahead and rest that leg, and we're going to drop it behind us just like our exercise today, but now let's kind of tilt the hips a little bit more. For those of you that were at the webinar yesterday, did you learn anything? Was it all review?
Not really. I wrote lots of down.
Oh, nice. There we go.
I
Remember's
really
not
enjoyed
good.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
good.
good. It was excellent.
Brilliant. Yeah, they said they wanted to get me back, so I would love to do one that had more of the general exercise recommendations. So, where to start with your cardio, where to start with your strength training in a more detailed way. And switch legs. But yeah, so glad to hear so many of you found it helpful, worthwhile. That's really great.
When I was at cards the other night, the ladies were totally amazed that I'm older than all of them and I could get up out of that sofa.
Those
right.
are tricky.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that one's it. You sink in it.
Yeah. Well done. That is some good leg strength.
Yep.
Nice work. Yeah, you sink in, and it's usually wider, so you're further back. You can't get your feet underneath you. Well done.
And I know I couldn't have done that before I started this class.
There we go. Well
Yeah.
done. Very well done. You guys can stretch one hand up, stretch one hand down. That's why I let you guys complain about the sit to stands, but I always make you do them. Well, that's awesome to hear. Does anyone else feel comfortable sharing something they've noticed in their day-to-day?
I tend to incorporate what you say into my daily life instead of certain periods of exercise. Like if I feel like, oh, I'm gonna move, well, the more limbs I use at the time, the more use I'm gonna get out of this movement. So those kinds of tips really help me a lot.
Well, there we go.
And also to listen to my body so I'm not hurting myself.
Good.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I'm so happy to hear you're taking the information to use outside of class even.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I figured I'm watching it on YouTube.
Yeah, good. I know, because I noticed you weren't there.
Yeah.
Relax your arms. Last one we'll do is just knees wide apart, and we'll just gently turn to one side. So you should feel just a gentle stretch down the inside of one leg. And then switch sides, gently turn the other way. Okay, relax there, team. Just gonna invite you to take in a deep breath with me. We're gonna do it twice. Put your hands wherever you would like, even if it's just on your belly. But we're going to inhale. Slowly, slowly exhale. And then once more, inhale. Slowly exhale. Roll your shoulders back. Give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Bye-bye now.